Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Life of Pi by Yann Martel. 16-year-old Pi is the sole survivor of a shipwreck. Pi has to rely on his survival skills and his belief in religion to get him through this ordeal. Not only does he have to deal with the elements, but he also has to deal with a hyena, a zebra, an orangutan, and a tiger. Oh my gosh, I am so glad I have finally read this book. I actually saw the movie first, and I remember when I was in high school, a lot of my friends read this book for their course, their literature course, but I never got to read this book, which I was always jealous about because I always wanted to see what the big deal was. So yeah, I saw the movie years and years later, really loved the movie, and so glad I got to this finally. Such a beautiful novel, so poetic, and so very human in its feelings. I think this is one of those novels that really sticks with you long after you put it down. And such an extraordinary amount of themes going on in this book, everything ranging from religion, life, death, love, beauty, storytelling, the five senses, and even this whole notion of animals behaving like humans and humans behaving like animals. Only problem I think I had with this novel was that sometimes it would get a bit slow in its pace. Pi spends this entire novel pretty much on this lifeboat as he has to deal with these various different zoo animals. There were moments where the description was so stunning and so beautiful and you just gotta really take it in and consume it. But then there were also moments where it kind of gets a little slow and boring and you're kind of like, okay, can we move on? But then again, maybe that was kind of the purpose of this novel. Once I finished it, I kind of was thinking about that maybe Yann Martel was going for kind of that slow pace, that monotony to kind of parallel what exactly Pi was going through, as well as the whole monotony and infinity of the sea, and also the fact that Pi's name is Pi, which is a math number that means infinity, basically. It's a number that just goes on and on. So yeah, I kind of started thinking maybe the slow pace and the monotony sometimes had a lot to do with the overall theme going on. But yeah, if you're looking for a wild and crazy book, this is not for you. It's one of those books you really gotta take in and really think about once you're done. I do want to get into some spoiler territory right now because I feel like a lot of people have read this book, so I think this would be an interesting place for discussion and just to hear a lot of people's opinions. But if you have not read this book, I will leave an annotation here that you can skip to go right to the very end of the video. So yeah, spoiler territory. Like I said, I viewed the movie first, so I knew perfectly well and good how this book was going to end and what the big twist was going to be. So yeah, I think that was actually pretty fun, the fact that I knew how this book was going to end, because it was really fun picking up on all of the various different clues that Yann Martel leaves in the book to let you know what the twist is. Yann Martel is incredibly clever, I think. Like I said, one of the themes of this book has a lot to do with humans behaving like animals and animals behaving like humans, which I think is a big tell for the ending. Because right at the very end of the story, when Pi has been rescued and the investigators are asking him a bunch of questions, Pi reveals that all of the animals on the boat with him were actually other survivors. So yeah, the investigators, they think Pi is insane because he is telling this story with the animals, and then, yeah, they're like, okay, these are actually humans. So the big question is, what is the true story? Like I said earlier in the list of themes, this book is also about storytelling and the power of storytelling and what you choose to believe and what you choose not to believe. So what is the real story? Pi's story with the animals, or the fact that it's actually humans? And what is more interesting, actually? I'm on page 317 of my edition with the movie cover, so if you want to kind of read along, Pi says to the investigators, "In both stories, the ship sinks, my entire family dies, and I suffer. And then he continues, since it makes no factual difference to you and you can't prove the question either way, which story do you prefer? Which is the better story? The story with animals or the story without animals? And then one of the investigators says, that's an interesting question. And then the other investigator says, the story with animals. And then the first guy says, yes, the story with animals is the better story. So yeah, both of the investigators agree that the story with the animals is far more intriguing. Which is very true, I think, because I started thinking, well, what if this story had been about a boy on a lifeboat with these other human survivors? Would it have been as interesting? Because me personally, I do think the version with the animals is far more unique and fun because it heightens up the drama. And the thing about this book as well is that the ending is ambiguous. Is the animals the real story, or was it humans? It's very ambiguous when you kind of sit and think about it, because there's the fact that just a few chapters earlier, Pi lands at this deserted island that has all these meerkats on it, and it's just a very leafy place, and it's almost like a haven. So yeah, it's a very, very weird island, Pi comes to find out, because then when he opens up a bunch of leaves, there's like human teeth in the leaves, and the island is almost very magical and mystical in some ways, and then Pi realizes he needs to leave the island or he's going to die eventually. And so yeah, that's what's kind of leaving this novel's ending ambiguous in my mind, because of the fact that, well, what if this island was real? How could Pi come up with this fantastical story with this weird island? It just seems, I don't know, so weird. Why would he come up with an island, you know? Of all of the things that he went through and had to endure, why would he make up this island? That is what is making me question this ending and why it feels so ambiguous, and that you can take it either way. Because maybe there was a tiger on that boat. So yeah, because we cannot fathom the idea of this island, that is what almost make you want to believe that Pi's original story with the lifeboat full of animals is the real story. Overall, I immensely enjoyed this book. Just, wow, so compelling, and just, I think, rather haunting and mesmerizing, and really sticks with you. And even Pi himself as the narrator, he is a very unreliable narrator, but you also still feel for him. He's also very witty and intuitive. And it's just very fascinating to read his thoughts on religion and the grander scope of the world. And also, you gotta love the tiger, Richard Parker. Oh, so cute. And if there's one final thing that this novel taught me, it's how to dismantle a sea turtle. So have you guys read The Life of Pi, and what did you think? Just let me know in the comments below. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye guys.